Hey guys, this is King3 bringing another live commentary, Forza 5. And I had a request to build this Honda NSX 2005 car out to an R class. And I don't know which one of you guys are this crazy, but this is not an easy class to drive in. Not an easy class at all. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm desperately trying to get a clean lap. And I have ran, I think, about 5 laps now, and I had to start over because I completely wrecked my car. It looked like it actually rolled, so it was actually pretty beat up. But I am trying to desperately do a clean lap here with this car. It's dirty again. Okay, well, we'll just keep trying here. So this McLaren behind me is actually a little bit faster in the straightaways, but I definitely have acceleration and handling over him. This particular NSX is going to be all-wheel drive because I couldn't stabilize it with the rear-wheel drive, and I don't race with traction control or stability on, so I don't know, typically in R class, if you would run those. You can see that McLaren's catching up with me a little bit. If it does, and you want to swap it out for rear-wheel drive because you can use traction control, you can go ahead and take the all-wheel drive off and then add some of the performance parts. It doesn't make it to the top of the class with everything on it in rear-wheel drive, but if that's what you would rather do, that's fine too. I don't race R. Well, I've never really raced R until this car, so I'm sure some of you are a lot better at it than I am. You'll see that this car gets a little bit of a head start, but I'll be able to make up some ground at the acceleration. I think it was near 10.0 on the acceleration, and I think it's about 950 horsepower, so it's got quite a bit of power to it. And I'm sure everything in R class has a ton of horsepower to it as well. But this is the only way I can make it drivable, was by changing it to all-wheel drive. I can't see my brake line because of that car up there. And then to top that off, I don't actually race this track a whole lot either because I race a lot of the lower class cars. Been working my way up to the A and the S's. Oh, stop. Let me show you this acceleration here. You can see we just pull away from the McLaren. So it has good acceleration, so in that regards, it should be a pretty decent lobby car. It handles pretty well, and it seems to stop pretty well. On this track, I look at the yellow. I'm actually braking just before that, and then I am not getting back on the gas until that yellow about disappears. So I don't know if that's typical or not, but was trying really hard to run a clean lap, and obviously I did not. But we'll see if we can beat this guy anyway. Gotta get some acceleration out of this third and fourth. Playing in R class is just like playing in fast motion, fast forward motion. It's amazing how those little turns for me are so tricky with these really fast cars. Alright, so we did beat the guy. Not by a whole lot, just a couple seconds, but alright, we'll see you over in the parts bin. Alright, and we're back. So let's go through the conversions real quick. Got the street powertrain swap, so I have the fastest engine. I have the all-wheel drive. And I have the twin turbo, this most horsepower you can get out of it. Overall we have 888 horsepower at 2,700 pounds. Alright, so that would be that part. So let's start over here on the left. A lot of these I just took off because I had to put the all-wheel drive on. So what I said earlier, if you took the all-wheel drive off and put the rear-wheel drive, you can gain these horsepowers back. There's not a lot there. There's only probably about 40 or so. But I had to trade it out for the all-wheel drive to make it drivable. So we have the race camshaft. We have the stock engine. We have the race twin turbo. We have the race intercooler, and we have the street flywheel. We're going to have race everything here: brakes, suspension, anti-roll bars, full roll cage, full weight reduction, stock clutch. You could actually change that to the race clutch. Not sure why. Oh, I bet you I changed like an engine part or something, and I lost all that. And that one actually works just fine. And actually, I'm going to see if I can grab that too real quick. Nope, 901. Okay. And, I'm not sure why that isn't race. Like I said, I must have changed a part. That what we just did probably won't make a big deal though. We have the race compound. We have the 225s on the front. We have the full rear at 315. Probably put my wheels on. Yep, heaviest wheels, LTC 701s. You can do an equivalent. I think they're right around in there. Whatever wheel you like. We have the R18s in the front. And the R19s in the rear. Have full front bumper and the race spoiler. Alright, so that's for that part. On the tune setup, we're going to do the tires. I just left them at 30-30, and you actually see a lot of these are left kind of the same thing I had before. You can adjust the final drive, but that worked out really well for that particular track. I have a -0.4 on the front camber, -0.8 on the rear, and the toe is +4 and -1, and the caster is just 4.9. Anti-roll bars, we have the front at 28.61 and the rear at 15.81. Soften that up in the rear a little bit just to get a little bit better traction when I was trying it out, the rear wheel drive. The front springs at 722, the rear at 547.1. Again, softer in the rear for that. And this is pretty standard, but since it was a rear engine, I stiffened up I actually left the ride height a little bit higher. You can actually probably raise that even a little bit more if you wanted to, in case you find a track that sparks up a little bit. The front rebound at 9.7 and the rear at 5.3. Pretty typical. Bump stiffness in the front 8.0 and the rear is 3.9. This one's actually a little bit stiffer in the front, but I needed that because the car was grabbing and kind of turning in too much. This is something that you could adjust. I was trying this with the rear wheel drive, so I left quite a bit of aero on it. If you want to try to get a little bit more speed out of it, you might have to change the gearing, but reduce your downforce. And I did find that the braking at 51% was pretty good. I could probably increase this a little bit. If you're more comfortable with a higher number, I would suggest to do that. And we have 50 and 0, and this is default at 75-75, and the center balance at 65. And it really didn't make a difference because of the all-wheel drive and the horsepower. It worked just fine. Didn't lose anything there. Alright, thanks a lot for listening, and go drive a crazy R-Class car if you want to. It's a little bit too fast for me at this point. I got to get used to it a little bit more. But good luck with that. We'll talk to you later. See you in the next one.